You won't ever change your ways, doing what you do. Well, you can keep on talking, knowing they don't mean nothing, the same old thing again. Well, I know it's so walking, guess this time I'm not joking. I've had all this again.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CEA. You thought the matches previously this season were good? Well, you haven't seen anything yet. We have two amazing teams coming up here tonight, and of course, we have two amazing casters as well. Myself is Keglanek, and of course, the wonderful and stunningly beautiful Connor Seedaps to go along with it. Hello, Seedaps. How are you?
You know, I'm doing really great. Have you ever seen the meme format where it's somebody looking, they're on space, it's two spacemen looking at the Earth, and it's like, oh my gosh, Invite League is all Akron stream. And then there's somebody holding a deagle straight up like the new Golden Gun game mode. And they say it always has been, because this is going to be the third game in a row on Thursday nights casted by the both of us, where we're going to see IMAT, JetCon, and the rest of the Akron boys put on an absolute show for us to cast and enjoy.
It's pretty much a weekly tradition at this point. I'll get myself a nice big old cup of coffee and 8:45. And then I already know we're going to see some explosive action coming out from those three. When it comes down to Akron's team, there's no bad players. And I'm not even saying that to be harsh. I mean that other teams have bad players. No, there are no players on Akron's side that can't pop off really hard in a specific map. You know, there are games where some of them might have lackluster kills, but even then, those lackluster amount of kills are really like in the low double digits or even like 7 or 8. There's no one on their team ever going like 2 or 3 or 4 for the entire set.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like a ticking time bomb. At any given moment, any player on Akron can absolutely explode, pop
Ooh.
off with a 4K, do whatever they so desire. And having that strong team synergy, even though they have a few new pieces into the puzzle, it started to work so well. And on the flip side of that, you have ASU, traditionally a really long-standing powerhouse in CEA Invite, who have constantly been successful and always in the consideration of the top couple of teams in the entire league. They have lost a couple of key members, such as Baca, arguably their best player in the last couple of seasons, but they still kept some of the real big powerhouses in the form of Zerfon, who I believe will be IGLing and leading their team. But overall, both teams have new players on the side, and then we're going to have to see exactly how each team merges together to put on an absolute show.
My question is, how many times tonight are we going to call them the Maroon 5?
Ooh, are we going back to musical references? First game we did rap references. Second time we did movies. Now is it like pop music?
Ooh, I'm not sure. I'm not very good at pop music, but actually, is Elton John pop music? I
I
don't
could
I
say
don't know.
he's like a predecessor to pop.
Okay. I
We
think
can we
that's
can
a fair
call him like
game.
a pathfinder.
He's like, yeah, he's like a frontier, like a frontiersman.
Yeah. He
Yeah, that's
carved
what
the
we'll do.
way.
The stream after this one, we'll do like 1840s pioneerman. We'll Davy Crockett all of this. That sounds
Oregon
terrible.
Trail. If we don't play Oregon, we can't do it.
Oh, that'll be the next rule. Next time we have Oregon, that's what we have to do. The most obscure, like Davy Crockett, Paul Bunyan looking stuff,
Oh
dude.
man.
That's pretty much all the references I know right there.
Well, right off the bat, we finally do have a full lobby, 5 on each side. Akron Gold's roster will be comprised of Surma, Imat, Arv, Hennessy, and JetCon, the 5 we've seen a couple of times. And on the ASU Maroon side, Maroon 5, as you will say it, they are Zerfon, Orion, Sport Trick, Firol, and Cravington. And with that as well, our maps are going to be starting off on Cafe with, I actually do not know the sides. I will look that up real
I
quick.
believe it's gonna be ASU starting on defense.
Alrighty, and then no, it'll be Akron
No,
starting
it's
on
Akron on
defense, and
defense.
then Akron picked Villa, where ASU will start on defense.
Correct. I'm looking at my previous histories, and this is the first time I believe that we've seen Akron on stream here where they're not playing on coastline. For the last 2 weeks, we've seen Akron absolutely dominate on their attacking half of coastline. There was never really a time at all on those rounds where Akron didn't seem to lose it. They almost went flawless both weeks in a row, but this is the first week where we don't see coastline. In fact, I believe it was ASU that banned it out, and yes, no. Yes, they did. I misread my notes. ASU did ban coastline, so maybe it was a bit of a target pick, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we do see a target ban coming out in ASU's favor to kind of hurt Akron, at least as much as they hope they can.
Yeah, just the main thing is that there is raw fragging potential on the side of Akron Gold with IMAT and JetCon. To that extent, you don't want to take them to a map like Coastline, where it is the wild west of Siege, guns blazing, and gun skill reigns supreme. You don't necessarily need a whole lot of strategy. You just need to frag out. And however the bans go out as well could potentially swing this into ASU's favor, considering I would consider them to be the underdogs.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how these bans are going to go from From probably both sides, I'm expecting to see more traditional bans. Already, we do see the Thatcher going down on Cafe. That's like bread and jelly right there. But when it comes to the defensive half, it could really go a whole bunch of different ways for Cafe. For example, we've been seeing pretty common Wamai bans. Of course, we do have the attack right here before I get into that tangent. A lot of the times for that second attacker, we either see Ace or Capital. Both of them very viable bans, but it seems like Maroon's taking their time to figure out what exactly is going to go down next. I'm going to guess it's going to be Ace. Yep, there you go. The Hamburglar himself is going to be completely gone. We can all eat our fries in peace. But these two defenders, Connor, could be really tricky to figure out.
Yeah, I think most definitely Mira is going to be off just because she is so incredibly powerful on this map. But I also like the idea of a Wamai ban removing the man who just makes Pixel his home on the top
That's
floor.
one.
There we go. Maroon 5 is going to be taking Mira off the board. No Spanish operator coming out with those black mirrors like the Netflix show. However, it's going to be up to Akron Gold to see if they want to start with the Wamai onto their side. But I believe Hennessy is actually very, very good on the new operator hailing from Nighthaven. Or if they're going to go maybe something a little bit different, maybe a Kaid ban, maybe something else. Maybe no, Echo is soft or hard banned, pardon me.
Ooh, the Goyo pick.
Okay.
This is really smart because again, it's the same area or philosophy of thought going up against the Wamai ban. Having a Goyo shield on Pixel can be just super strong, of course, in combination with the Wamai magnets, but at least you're removing, I would say at least maybe 25 to 50% of the problem on that Pixel angle when you're taking over inside Cigar. Now, that's really good for the bar site too, and that's mostly where we do see that angle being held, but that Cigar area is an absolute stranglehold for most of the sites on the map, maybe given Kitchen barring the only example, but even then, if a team wants to go top and down, more likely than not, they're going to encounter at least one foe in that area, almost always regardless of the site.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you think about it. Pixel is just such a powerful position that needs to be held down as long as possible inside that piano box room. It's sort of the backbone in the first area that attackers have to take control of in order to be successful towards their execute. On the third floor, Piano kind of acts as Rome. All roads lead to it, and all roads for attacks typically go through it, unless you're going to be going for an eastern side window take, which has become less popular and less favorable in the current meta, where you're just going to see a whole lot of utility dump going on. As well, I think my eyes are glued on Imad just a little bit. I've seen him do a lot of work with the Valkyrie. I believe it was last week where he just threw a cam out of that piano top left window, reboarded it back up, and one of his teammates was yellow pinging people, and he was trying to get the wall bang through the window, which maybe will come on display once again today. However, with the aggression we see on this Valkyrie, having those cams, having that intel in order to be calculated with the aggression could potentially be a huge difference maker on this defense.
Yeah, speaking of those black eye cameras, we've been seeing that from IMAD just about every round last week, and no pings indeed. There we go. Sports Trick already gonna fall. That's gonna be the IQ dead end and a utility meta where there's electronics all over the site. Losing your IQ first, of course not including her guns, is gonna be a huge loss already for the Maroon 5. They lost their lead singer, and now the rest of the party has to keep on chugging.
Yeah, that's sort of just mental warfare at that point. For Sport Trick, not even getting to play the first round and dying within 5 seconds is definitely going to take a hole in, or take a, oh man, I can't even think of the word. It's going to take a toll onto his psyche, and it's just going to be difficult to climb back from that, and especially with the rest of the team understanding that Akron came to play. Imad's going to be aggressive. He's going to be confident as always, taking every gunfight. So you're going to have to outbrain him because most likely you will not be able to out-aim him, especially if he's supplementing his aggression with the aforementioned bout cams, just knowing exactly where people are and trying to pre-fire. Right there, his nitro cell is burned, so it becomes a little bit less deadly on the vertical front if he were to rotate down maybe inside of pillars or inside of excavation slash train. Could have gotten a nitro kill there, but he was just trying to remove the people off the window, as now Jetcon's gonna run in top red, give it a couple bullets onto some players, but can't quite get it done. Take lose about 40% of his HP for the Endeavor, but he has all the confidence in the world. He is still swinging, he's still going. He's gonna be able to drop down Cravington, swing out and get refragged by the Thermite Viral, just too strong and too acute with the calls from his teammates to get flanked.
Confidence indeed, and taking one body down is really good. Unfortunately, Jack Khan does get immediately traded out, but the damage has already been done. Cravington, the Zofia, falls. Of course, already the IQ is gone as well. You're still going to be down a body if you're on the attacking side, and being down to pretty much just a skeleton crew for the final minute of the round is not an area you want to be in. The Wamai, I'm sorry, wow, not the Wamai. It's going to be the Exothermics going down from that Thermite, trying to take over a little bit of Cigar as much as possible. Zerfron from across the entirety of the top floor, finding Arv, and that's going to be your Smoke on, another one of your skeleton crews. It's an even 3v3 now as we approach the final 40 seconds of the round. Not a single body on Maroon's side is going to be full of health. In fact, that Maverick, unfortunately, going to be so low on health, they die. Pyro, the last one alive now, going to be facing eyes across the ways with a Valkyrie, but I'm at there, the first one to get a kill, and the last one to secure another, getting round number 1 in the favor of Akron without seemingly really breaking a sweat.
Yeah, it was just the aggression of IMAT as well as JetCon showing their confidence in their gun skill. Sure, JetCon fell early, but he did do a lot of damage before he was eventually refragged out. Took out the Zofia, put about 40 or 60% HP off of Zerfon, making him easy pickings across the way through the breach that he opened up. And with that, they were able to take it, and yes, I see exactly what you see. I know what you're about, and it is the presence of the Lord on IMAT.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's going to be 6 picked away as he's going to tease us just a bit and take an operator with the T5 with a 1.5 attached, where it already was a quite formidable weapon, adding a little bit of extra zoom for the confidence on the long-range gunfights. Is most likely going to be in favor of IMAT. Already starting off 3-0, looking quite strong, running right out the double door, giving his best Dougie impression, just shaking back and forth QE style, as the rest of his team is setting up for most likely a bakery hold.
Well, if you're like Jack Con, you got to be like Taylor Swift and said, Connor, you got to shake it off, shake it off. But right now, Akron is in a fantastic place right now. We don't see the Valkyrie coming out from IMAT this time. It's definitely something he does not want to overuse. Now, something I want to keep in mind too is that we did see him run the same exact Valkyrie strat from last time, and it seems like Maroon either did not VOD review it, or they just weren't really expecting that run out, because that was a lot more abrasive than what we had seen last week, and it worked even more effectively this time.
Yeah, and now we're just going to see Cravington not try to get fooled again. Just spraying an entire mag, or actually, pardon me, half of the mag of the G8 over towards that window, checking for bout cams. Because you don't want to get fooled by the same trick again. Unfortunately for him, IMAT's a little bit too smart to fall into that sort of mistake of doing the same thing twice, expecting and giving respect to the other team that they are going to try to improvise, overcome, and adapt. However, it's going to be a little bit of an adaptation coming out of ASU, because they're going to have to allocate a lot of resources and utility to uproot Hennessy, as well as, nope, I was going to say it was Surma, but it is Arv inside of Prep, trying to lock onto Bakery for as long as possible. There's a couple ADSs that are now going to be getting burned away at the hands of the flashbangs. However, IMAT's going to be able to take out Ryan from way downtown, upstairs style headshot onto the Nomad, holding the long angle, and now you do not have nearly as much flank denial, and that doesn't really provide a good omen for ASU Maroon, because you still have roamers off sites that are now going to have uninhibited routes back to site and flanks.
Even without really much intel and without even the Valkyrie cams, IMAT has the audacity to step on top of that piano and get a kill from right outside. Pretty much the spawn area still, of course, for many, it's going to be IMAT going on a double kill, finding Sport Trick yet again. Diffuser's going to be down right outside. IMAT, without a care in the world, playing Call of Duty, finding Zerfron right in the entrance of that bakery. There's one more body out there. Little does IMAT know, but it looks like he tactically retreated away with that Diffuser. But that's going to not stop IMAT from swerving around, trying to get some bullets down on Cravington. But it looks like the demon, the menace himself, has been put down for yet another round. But the damage has already been done, Connor. A 4v2, and not even that, almost like a 1.5. Cravington's HP so low it can see dinosaur bones. It's going to be up to the hard breacher and the intel warrior, the last ones alive and seemingly separated, to really bring themselves back onto that site, and maybe desperately to get back the man advantage into their favor.
Yeah, it's going to be a definite uphill battle. especially with time becoming a little bit of a factor. Maverick going to lose about 25 of his HP due to a well-placed Nitro Cell in the holes out here. Arv is going to be able to find Cravington, body shots raining true, as now Fireall is in a 1v4 situation. He's just trying to swing prep, and that Malusi is going to be screaming Banshee style that he is, yes, indeed in here, and now Zerma will swing out, finish off, and refrag his fallen teammate TCSG in hands, and takes another round for Akron Gold.
So far, Akron really haven't been contested much at all this game. They've been able to lose one. Actually, no, they've only had 3 deaths so far in 2 of the rounds that we have seen. And a lot of those were really aggressive deaths that were pretty much at the fault of Akron's side. IMAT, of course, going 6-1, blowing away all the stats of everybody else in the lobby. We haven't seen ASU come even close to the objective. As far as we have seen has been the area right outside the perimeter. That being said, Bakery, Mini, ooh, close. Cigar, almost there. But they've been able to make that final attempt, but when they do, they only have barely any forces left. And it's easy pickings for Akron when it's a 5v2. And that's pretty much what we had seen for the majority of these rounds.
Yeah, I think that statement right there is just a testament to the roam game of Akron up to this point. They've been lights out. They're getting the frags before even having to fall back out of their advanced positions. And when you sort of have your anchors in positions where they have so many crossfires, they have all the confidence in the world that they can peek because they have such a massive man advantage, that's really set up great on Akron's defense. Because if you can't stop IMAT and JetCon from just running around all over the place, you're constantly going to have that thought linger in the back of your mind that, hey, there's a gunner just running around the map. He's going to try to get behind us, and we have to constantly be on edge to watch our rears and make sure they don't get free kills. And trying to multitask like that, where you're also worried about, hey, we've got to clear the guy out of Pixel. We've got to clear the guy out of Small Bay, Prep, wherever. It just is really splitting your attention and making your pushes a lot weaker.
But let's not mince this at all, however. This game so far is entirely in the hands of IMAT. He has gone 6-1. It doesn't seem like he's even close to stopping again. He's inside piano to start the round off. This area is his chateau. This is his bread and butter area. Almost all the kills we have seen, minus I believe 2, have been directly in this area. And of course, Cravington, seemingly none the wiser, is indirectly in his zone of destruction.
Yeah, I mean, IMAT hasn't played the same operator twice. He was on the Valkyrie, then the Legion, now the Malusi. At least there's a common weapon across Malusi and the Legion with the T5 SMG, but he's no longer going to have that wonderful 1.5 zoomed scope. But it probably won't make much of a difference because of the way he's going to be swinging with the Banshees for intel. He's going to understand that the defenders, or pardon me, the attackers are going to have to be within that radius of effect if he hears that base boost start dropping. And when you're going to be locking down a position such as Pixel inside a piano, there's only a few places he could go. However, Cravington at the bottom of the red stairs is going to be able to take out Hennessy, getting the opening frag for ASU Maroon, which is the first time that they've been able to achieve that feat up to this point. However, Surma's going on the refrag, but he's going to lose a little bit of his HP, and being on the mute, you want to try to lock down the downstairs for as long as possible. However, this horizontal push is looking very strong for ASU Maroon because they don't really have to worry about the top floor control. And that's where a lot of the resources of Akron Gold are set up. They want to stop any sort of vertical pressure, make sure Sport Trick can't get that soft breaching going on. However, with this horizontal attack, you don't deal about that. You're going to have to go through a lot less bodies and take a lot less square footage of map control if you're able to pull it off successfully.
A very slow attacking round coming out from ASU's side. This is the first time so far where they've had that man advantage. They got the opening pick. Sure, it was Hennessy. You lose out on the pulse. No cardiac sensor. No C4 anymore. But playing it slow means they won't have to waste too many bodies. They won't do any aggressive peaks, but everyone is upstairs. It's about to become absolute war zone here. It's going to be Chaos 0 going down on the 3rd floor. It's going to be up to whoever finds those crosshairs first. Of course, on Whitehall, it's going to be a huge engagement. Arv goes down. He's been playing pickety-pockety wherever he can on those white stairs, but it's be Cravington who goes down instead. The DBNO and Arv still in effect. There's only 2 left alive on Akron's side. This has been the most resistance we've seen from ASU so far, and if this momentum can keep up, if they can catch out on the last 3 now alive, this could be ASU finally being brought onto the map, and as they're encroaching onto the bomb site, only Surma is going to be on the helm.
Seconds to go.
Of course,
Yeah,
with only
with those, pardon me, but with those white holes open, they're gonna have a nice crossfire onto exactly where the diffuser wanted to come in. Now the SMG-11 shots are just whiffing a bit. Sermon's gonna swing out with a shotgun and get taken out as Fyro picks up his double kill. IMAT whips out the pistol and finishes off Sport Trick, but now the clock strikes midnight. Akron Gold getting the perfect site rotation and starting off very strong at Cafe due to a stalled out, unfortunate horizontal push coming from ASU Maroon.
a very nice round coming out from ASU Maroon. They almost had it, but at the last second, everyone from Akron's side jumped down like, I don't even know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, let's say, and they just collapsed on the site, bringing it back. That entire round, up until the last 10 seconds, were completely in the hands of ASU, but then they just kind of left it away. Unfortunately, now this is going to put Akron 3-0 on their defense. That's exactly where they want to be. They're on track right now, but statistically speaking, Akron, I'm getting them mixed up. ASU needs to get 2 rounds in this first half if they at least want to be on track to maybe having a chance to win this game. For Akron, they only need 1 more round.
Yeah, and the way Cafe has been broken down by attackers and new sort of attacking strats have come out, this map isn't as defensive-sided as it used to be. However, Akron are making it look like the map just came out and is super defender-sided. Their holds have been so strong. However, there was a little bit of a chink in the armor of the Akron defense last time on Reading Room, but that was their tertiary bomb site that they're choosing to go last, and sort of will be willing to forget about it if there is an unfortunate circumstance over towards the 3rd floor or kitchen bomb sites if they are to lose that. On the flip side of that, the 3rd floor and kitchen bomb sites looked so strong for Akron's defense. ASU was not even able to get into sight on either of those. IMAT on the roam was just causing so much damage, getting a 3K both rounds, starting off strong with 6-1. And now we see IMAT trying to do it again. He wants this spawn peak getting up to this side. If I'm on ASU, I'm not even going to spawn in that location. I am not going to deal with the Christmas market. I'm not going to deal with the west side of the map, and definitely not where that window is open, and you know an absolute gunner is going to be poking his head out of it.
But IMAT right now is taking it very easy. He doesn't want to recreate the same scenario again. He doesn't want to make the same mistake twice. Well, not even. He doesn't want to do the same thing twice in case it becomes a mistake. He doesn't want to die early. He himself so far has been able to really carry the game on his shoulders. 8-1. He has only died for 1 round, and the rest of his teammates took up the slack. But I mean, can you blame IMAT? He's been able to get the opening and ending engagements for the majority of these rounds, and so far, it's been looking so good. A lot of it because of him and his gunning skills. Of course, IMAT's not the only gunner on the team. We've seen plenty from other teams. JetCon, for example, right there, able with a pixel, find Cravington on the top of the skylight there without even moving a muscle. Already, the IQ gone again. This is the 2nd time where we have seen IQ go down immediately on the area of bar. Of course, that's going to be JetCon going down next. A train out coming from Ryan. That's going to be the flanker who's able to find him. But the flanker's going to drop down first and look around, be the entry fragger now. Capital not too far behind. IMAT seemingly resigned his position and moving back. Not entirely sure where he went, but right now he's like a shadow for the attackers, ready to pounce anywhere he can.
Yeah, at about 1 minute and 20 seconds, relinquishing pixel control is not a bad idea, especially when Hennessy's able to get a kill onto Sport Trick. A whole lot of utility going down from that Cappy Tau that will no longer be used to help supplement their execute. No smoke canisters and no fire bolts to burn out the locations of known anchors. May be a little bit more difficult, but now IMAT hits a wonderful shot onto Ryan right through the head of the Nomad, making the man advantage grow even further. 4v2 situation, 45 seconds left to work with. We'll see if Zerfon and Viral, the 2 returning members for ASU, have enough in the tank to try to overcome this blistering Akron defense.
None of the other times in this round have mattered up until the final 45. Up until now, it's going to be IMAT again with a double and a triple. Akron again, never mind. 45, more like 5 in general, or more like 4.5. That's going to be IMAT with a quick double kill into a triple that entire round. Again, all IMAT. He is 11, I believe 11-1. That is one of the craziest KDs we have ever seen, of course, in CEA, but maybe in competitive Siege. He has gone completely unrivaled so far in this entire tournament. Oh my god, Connor, what is going on?
He's giving me Rexon vibes from last night, man.
Ooh.
He is popping off in a way that nobody else is even able to keep up. If you take all 5 members of ASU and add up their score, they still don't have enough to beat out IMAT. That is 8-11. And now we're going to maybe see the Caveira play showing off the confidence, and maybe we'll see an interrogation coming out, but he does keep on sort of rotating around on this 6th pick. He could be picking another operator, but most likely just confirming his loadout. Just really set himself up to be a sneaky snake and try to literally pounce on the enemies if he's able to get them into the DBNO state. Get off the interrogation and turn the tide on the entire round, giving his entire team legal, literal wall hacks.
I mean, it seems like already IMAT has that with the Z-Ping, and he's one of those players that has really benefited from that being included into the game, it seems. 11-1 right now. This is the IMAT show here, completely without a doubt. There's only been one instance where he's played the same operator twice. That, of course, was both bar rounds where he played the Valkyrie. Previously, before when we saw the Kitchen come out, he was Chunka and then 6th picked into the Legion, but he's playing 4D chess against Maroon right now. He wants to keep everyone on their toes. No one knows on the attacking side, unless the drone found him, what IMAT's bringing out, but of course with the new reinforcement pool, he doesn't have to feel obligated to stay on the site. He's probably already long gone.
Yeah, however, the biggest thing I see is that Sportrick does have the Jackal. That could be a really good counter to the heavy roam presence that Akron is putting up to this side. They've spread very wide horizontally, and now there's a pinch coming out towards the main door. 2 bodies in the form of Arv as well as Jetcon, but now Jetcon's going to be able to take out Ryan. Cravington gets the refrag and is going for the second one, but can't quite get it done as the MP5K from Arv will find the head of the Jackal. That also means that IMAT probably just breathed a big ol' sigh of relief. No more toes tracking shenanigans coming out of the Spanish operator, and he's going to be free to roam even further because the Nomad has also bitten the dust. No more air jabs to come out, hindering his pathway back to site and getting in behind the attackers, which is exactly what he does want to do, as he's going to start creeping his way down the white stairs.
Colonel, do you hear me? I'm at the top of White Stairs. There's thermite down below. That's what Solid Snake's doing right now at the top of White. Slowly but surely making their way down with that Lucian. Could be the interrogation that they're hoping to get. Of course, though, interrogation can really only work once per set. Not because there's a hard rule or anything, but because ASU will quickly adapt. The Jackal's dead, the flank launch also gone. This is the prime opportunity for the Cavi to strike. The rest of the defensive team sitting nice and tight on the site itself, and there we go! Lucian into the impact grenade kill, not wanting to risk it, not wanting to risk the refrag going down. The thermite's still nearby, and the Caveira, long gone, like dust in the wind. Of course, catching them right around on the refrag. No! Not even! Cravington, with an inch of health left alive, wants to go in for the final kill as a valiant act, but no. The Caveira realized this is probably not a fight. They want to win, and red stairs already. They come. But Cavi sitting at the bottom of red, already waiting, the communication on point, are finding Cravington, and suddenly Viral, the Thermite, who was originally suspected to be killed by the Caveira. Only the last one alive now, like a shadow, pouncing on everybody, destroying them all. IMAT again is on an absolute roll. This is not something I've ever really seen before, Connor. Absolute destruction coming out from one seemingly superhuman player.
Yeah, I just don't even know what to say. Nothing, no string of words I can muster together will begin to shine the light on how impressive IMAT has looked up to this point. 13-1, just sprinting around, doing whatever he wants, and there's just nothing that ASU has been able to throw at him that he is unable to overcome. Up to this point, Viral is the only one not negative on his roster, and now IMAT and the rest of the Akron boys are looking for this flawless site rotation. And another note is this is ASU's map pick.
Yeah, that's definitely not something you want to see on your own map pick. You got to give it to IMAT, though, in that last round. He showed a lot of restraint despite him just wandering around the map and knowing exactly where to find people. He was allowing his teammates to get some of the kills, too, when he didn't have the advantage. Like him waiting at the bottom of red on coat check or going into coat check, he knew someone was there and he let his friend get all the glory there. Of course, going 13-1, can you really blame him? The rest of his teammates like Surma going 1-1. Normally that's not something you really want to see, but 1-1's pretty good going towards the second half.
Yeah, I mean, this was the weakest bomb site for Akron. Last time around, ASU was actually able to get into sight and were so close to getting a successful execute, but they didn't quite take into account the holes on the white staircase wall, where it was just an absolute just slaughter as people tried to crouch walk their way into the fireplace, that little like chimney area. They were crouch walking in and they caught a bunch of bullets from IMAT on white, and with so little time left on the clock, that was absolutely disastrous. However, I did like the attack in general coming out of ASU. It's an SSG style pro league attack that is made to counter the traditional meta of, hey, we're gonna be going upstairs and trying to do that, so the defenders adjust and put a lot of pressure on that top. And now Arv is able to pick up a kill through the floor angle refrag by Zerfon, as this does seem to be a lot faster of an attack coming out of ASU. A little reading room rush going on, but they're gonna be met with a nitro cell coming out. And is it gonna be able to blow? No, it's shot out of the air. Sport Trick now swings and drops down Surma. Site control is now into the hands of the attackers. Zerfon's gonna be able to pick up another kill onto Jackon. IMAT is able to fall viral, but now it's Hennessy in sight trying to take more damage back. Diffuser is down, and it's a post plant, but Swartrick's going to be able to take out Hennessy, making it all up to IMAT in a 1v3 situation. He does have the flank. He's able to find the first one onto Zerfon, swinging once again, knows that somebody's in this tight corner, but can't quite get the pre-fire, as the headshot onto IMAT will be enough to finally tame the beast. ASU pick up their first round, and a 5-1 split is starting to look maybe a little bit more promising.
You may have won the battle, but the war still rages on going into the second half. ASU Maroon only winning their one and only attacking round at the very, very end. Now, I'm not sure if this means they have a hard time adapting around everything, but going for the super aggressive approach is definitely what they should have done a lot earlier. Of course, once you go up against a literal superhuman going 15-2, it's a little difficult to do something like that. But we're seeing kitchen service right off the rip, and we're not seeing the traditional bar defense that a lot of teams, Akron included, really like to start off with. Nothing too crazy on the operator roster from either side. IMAT, of course, rocking the Ash, but the defensive side is really solid and sound for the kitchen.
Yeah, kitchen is sort of one of those bomb sites that some teams tend to favor because of just how heavily third floor has been attacked and taken for a lot of teams. It's just sort of the same idea that has befallen CCTV on Clubhouse. Used to be the best site in the map, but because people play it so much, attackers have really figured out how to break it down. So on the side of ASU Maroon, they most likely just prefer the kitchen bomb site. And if they're able to start a little bit of momentum, there's nothing saying that they can't swing this back around and potentially get the tie or the win. However, for them to do that, they're going to have to be just as crisp as Akron was on their defenses. And to get the win, they've even got to one-up them and go completely flawless. As soon as they drop a single map on their defensive side, that's going to be clinching the partial loss for University of Akron, which is probably not something they're going to be celebrating, but it is a step and a necessary step to go forward into earning points.
Yes, a lot of things are being clenched right now, especially if you're a fan of Maroon. It only takes 2 more rounds for Akron to bring it home and win map number 1. But anything's possible right now. We are seeing, of course, a very top-down heavy attack, it seems, coming up from the most of Akron's side. It's going to be a little bit slower than I think we're anticipating. Not going to see a bakery push. They really want to look for those roam clearers, but it looks like, yeah, from the looks of it, it's going to be a very barren top floor. None of the defenders want to take the risk. They all want to stay on site where it's nice and safe, and, you know, they can let the battle come to them, especially when the odds are so heavily stacked against a team like Maroon. They need to win every battle they can get, and they want this battle to go to the home side.
Yeah, I mean, when you're on your map choice, there has to be some reason that you chose it, and typically it is because your defenses are stronger and you're very comfortable just holding on to the necessary bomb sites, stopping the attackers from taking map control. However, that's just the opposite of approach to what ASU is doing. They're just playing very passive. They're playing very safe, and they're going to make the Akron attackers come to them. And when you have a very wide horizontal spread on the first floor, that kind of stuff can really be harmful as time starts going down. Sportrick is now going to be swinging up top round. A little bit of a pre-fire, but a swing and a miss coming out of the Kaid. Now, on the flip side of this entire area, you have Cravington on the Jaeger locked up inside of the Christmas tree room. If any attackers on the Akron side go down white, they're going to be met with direct contention and a big old crossfire coming out of the two operators on the eastern side of the map for the Maroon defense.
Definitely not a place that Maroon wants to be in right now. They are holding everything down quite thoroughly. They're not taking those battles just yet, and this is the closest we have seen so far to a pretty even round between both teams. It's going to be the first round on the second half, of course, and it's going to be the attacking side. Everyone's still figuring each other out, but across on the floor, down to above, it's going to be Imat to go down first, but Jetcon easily comes back with the clap. Now, Imat's the king of the defense, but when it comes to offense on that Zofia, Jetcon reigns supreme. Surma taking down Firewall. It's going to be another one gone, but the Cayenne, of course, not going to fare too much either. Hanging around inside clothes rack or clothing check, he needs to do what he can to stay alive. He's the last line of defense before the bomb site itself. The IQ, having no fear whatsoever, wants to push it, but decides not to. Now, this could save either of their lives. A trade could have been abound, but no! Instead, Hennessy hesitated at first, but then eventually jumped in. Zerfun taking out Surma, and the kill feed runs blue with the blood of ASU's side. It's going to be the plant to go down, and only one left alive. Zerfun able to find one, but unfortunately not able to secure the round. Akron now going 6-1 into what could potentially be the final round for map number 1 here tonight, Connor. This has been a very quick game so far, but Cravington suddenly has to disconnect.
Unfortunately, yes, the beautiful, hated, absolutely awful 2 letters of RH are going to come into the chat, meaning that we have to go to a quick intermission while we get everything all taken care of. And with a scoreline of 6-1, this could be a momentum block for University of Akron. So maybe unfortunate on their side, or maybe they're going to chef up some amazing attacking strat in the meantime. But with that, we're going to go to a quick 5-minute intermission. So make sure to stay tuned for the thrilling conclusion of map 1.
Gentlemen, welcome back to IMAT Murder Simulator. You would think this is Rainbow Six Siege, but no, this is actually Deathmatch, it seems, for Akron Gold. ASU right now is suffering quite a bit, leaving towards one of the round's conclusions. That was going to be a rehost into a technical difficulty, but we are now back, and CDAPS, my man. It's not looking good for ASU Maroon. They have been suffering quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen. I'm never going to count out a team, especially anybody in the Invite League. They've earned their spot in the top, I believe, 12. It is now of collegiate competition for CEA. And none of these teams are anything to scoff at. However, ASU needs to make a few adjustments to try to put a muzzle on the absolute beast that has been IMAT up to this side. He's just running around and just showing off the utmost confidence, directly translating into his gun skill and just swinging everything, popping heads, and just putting everybody in the grave.
I might be wrong, and I'm sure chat will be more than happy to correct me, but I believe before the rehost, IMAT was 18-3. Now, failed basic math in college twice, but I did pass the math where I learned that 18 divided by 3 is 6. I think.
Yeah, I mean, a
Does my
6
math check
KD
out?
is yeah, a 6
Okay.
KD is absolutely insane.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh
Oh, no.
no.
They had to put themselves at a bit of a disadvantage. They're doing too great already on Maroon's side, and they just need to give themselves a little bit of a crutch, it seems. Cravington just popping up so much with his 0-0.
He just
And
got oh man, he just got deeged through the wall as they're making
ah,
the long angles. That's so unfortunate, especially on an operator such as the Jaeger, that you know is going to want to take as many gunfights as possible and stay alive for as long as he can, because that's what a good roamer does. You don't necessarily need to get kills. They're always a big benefit of your roam, but the main thing you're going to want to do is just kill as much time and waste away the precious seconds that Akron has to get into sight.
of course, if this was a casual match, already Sportrick would be kicked from the lobby. But no, it's not, thankfully. And the black eye camera is going to be, instead of going outside like IMAT likes to do, they're going to be placed inside around probably a lot of the vertical angles going from down below, like we saw the one in Train. And right away, IMAT is already out for blood. Sure, he gave himself like a 5-minute little resting time, and he's ready to get back into the action. The Jaeger going to be played down below towards the red stairs with Sportrick, of course, on the other side as well. They're out for blood as well, but on much slower pace. They're looking to make sure that no one, especially the mission man himself, is able to find any kills. That's the main objective here. It's not so much winning the rounds, which of course is important. It's about them making sure that IMAT gets, as you said, Connor, he gets muzzled.
Yeah, it's just going to be such a task for them to do. However, with Zerfon on the shield with a lot of magnets already protecting him, he's been inside Pixel long enough for him to be quite effective and very hard to uproot with the plethora of utility he's been able to toss out. However, IMAT on this window is going to cut his escape. He's essentially boxed in and understands that he's been marked for death, as now Jekon's going to go in, but a swing from down below is going to be a wonderful refrag onto him. Headshot onto the Zofia will make a 1-for-1 even trade with the Wamai inside a Pixel. But Sportrick has made quite the decision. He has he has lifted the torch of his fallen teammate and was going to try to retake pistol before sort of understanding that was ill-advised. Is going to be playing more passive over towards the back of pallets on the top of the white staircase. Maestro Cam will now bite the bullet as IMAT's breaching around will make quick work of that Italian wonderful piece of utility. And now with even more going on, the shield will go. Actually, no, it unfortunately missed. The breaching round was not quite in the best location and will not be able to get rid of that large piece of metal, blocking off sightways.
Yes, a very brazen attempt coming out from Sportrick ends in success, but the area of cigars completely given up. Pixel was held by Zerfron. Unfortunately, going to go down. That leaves the entirety of the entire top floor open for the attackers if they play it right. I'm already finding Cravington, and he's out for blood more. Who's going to be next? Who's going to be the next victim? If only he looks to the right just a little bit more. There we go. Number 2, number 3, hip fire galore, quick draw McGraw. That's going to be IMAT with an easy triple kill, and it's only Sportrick now, the man who has been swinging on the vines of this round, just able to go everywhere, going to be shut down at the top of White Stairs, right almost near the top of his fallen teammate. Gonna be going down. That's gonna be Arv with the final kill and a great map number 1 for Akron, where they were never really contested except for one round.
If your math was correct with IMAT being 18-3 before
I
the
hope so.
rehost, that means he dropped the 20 bomb. Because
Woo.
18 plus 3 is 21-21. And he was looking like quite the savage through this map, just running through every single attacker, defender, whoever was on the ASU Maroon. Absolute skill with this video game, just so dominant, so aggressive, so powerful. And every single time he swung, every time he peeked, pre-fired, or whatever, he was winning his gunfights and adding those tallies onto his kill total. However, that was the first map done and dusted. So we will have a quick 5-minute intermission. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak today. We will have a 5-minute intermission in between maps to make sure all of our I's dotted, our T's are crossed, and our ducks are in a row. So make sure to stay tuned for map 2 coming up.
I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna do my thing.
It'd be like that.
Welcome back, ladies and germs. We had map number 1 be the IMAD show. Of course, if you're familiar with the University of Akron, each one of them are absolute ringleaders when it comes to getting kills. University of Akron went 7-1 against ASU Maroon, and That was their map pick, C-Daps. I don't know. I think Maroon really needs to pick it up this next map. But if it's anything like we saw before, and frankly, if it's anything like we've seen all season, this might be a very quick match.
Yeah, the thing about Akron is they are so comfortable on Villa. And it's just the roam game on their defense is so incredibly strong. You put IMAT and you put JetCon together as a dynamic duo, and it is so incredibly hard to break down and effectively take gunfights against them, where they know this map like the back of their hand. They're swinging every single angle with absolute confidence and just putting people 6 feet under. And when you're trying to attack that, having a man disadvantage is just not the ideal situation for you to be in. It's just not great, but ASU will be starting on the defensive, so we'll see if Akron has enough on their attacking side, which they usually haven't been getting to as often as they probably would like because their defenses have been so strong. We haven't really gotten to see a whole lot coming out of them in the last 2 weeks. I think Villa was played both times. So I'm excited to see what's going to be coming out, especially with an Ace ban, because Ace is just such a powerful operator on Villa. That AK-12 is perfectly suited for medium to long range. So when you're taking those sort of ranged engagements over towards the long, narrow corridors that Villa offers with its architecture, it's so well suited and typically does shine even on a hard breach roll and can offer a lot of frags as opposed to a Thermite or a Havana.
Oh, oh man. Speaking of architecture and speaking of operator bands, it's gonna be the Valkyrie that goes down first. This is a very spicy band. This might be one of the spiciest bands we've seen all season because IMAT on defense just absolutely crushed everybody with those cameras. But now that she's gone, IMAT, when they do go to defense, gonna have to be a little bit creative. Of course, usually when we saw him, especially on Valkyrie bands for Coastline, he was the Mozzie pick. So not all is gonna be lost for his defense, supposedly, but even now, Valkyrie being very strong on Villa in general, but this is definitely a targeted ban, and let's see if they'll be able to bring it back with that target ban in effect.
Yeah, the thing about IMAT is when you give him intel, it doesn't matter what weapon he has. Sure, the MPX is an absolute pea shooter, shooting some frozen peas, for lack of a better word, over towards the attackers makes you get those headshots. But more often than not, that has been the area that IMAT has been finding. So he'll most likely do pretty well on any operator if he's feeling really great with his team. So might not be the biggest thing in the world for a target ban, might actually just light a fuel the fire in him out of anger of, dang, these kids are really just going at me. They don't want me to succeed, so I'm going to rise above their expectations and go even stronger.
I mean, already having a fire underneath him with 21 in 3, I hope. I mean, if that wasn't lit already, I'm scared to see what explosion we're going to have now going into this map. But already we are seeing a very interesting defense coming out. I believe it's going to be dining first, and already the upstairs Roman reinforcements are in effect. We do want to keep an eye on this Mozzie and, of course, where these barricades on the castle are going to go. Both of these operators with their intel and their physical intel could be absolute maestros, no pun intended, for how a site will be conducted, both on the defensive end and for the attack. Right away, though, we are seeing an aggressive attack coming out from IMAT and Sailor Moon herself. It's going to be the Malusi who finds the wrong end of the barrel. IMAT already out for blood. Like you mentioned, C-Dubs finding Zerfron, and that's going to be already a major player out of the running for round number 1. The Anger not too far behind, could be holding down on Classical 90, finding Cravington next, not even a contest in mind. Hennessy and IMAT seemingly going together like Tuxedo Mask and Sailor Moon herself. Just a beautiful power combo of destruction as they roam clear the top floor.
But now Sport Trick has a wonderful flank setup. And on the side of Akron's defense, they don't have a Nomad or a Gridlock, but they do have a drone to confirm his location and know that, yeah, there's a short Australian man coming from our rears. That's going to be just enough for him to rotate all the way down inside of Art Studio and go for a cheeky little late round spawn peek. Unfortunately for him, all the players of Akron's variety are long gone from that balcony and won't be picked off by that Roni just yet. However, now there's a whole lot of destruction going in on the top side, peeling back the layers of the remaining 3 ASU defenders that are just sitting inside of sight, trying to hold hold down the fort for as long as possible. Sportrick needs to make his way back into sight. However, if these angles are opened up properly, that's going to be quite the daunting task ahead of him, as well as Ryan doesn't have the most range, because if you notice, he does have the M1014 in hand. He's going to be creeping, crawling, snaking style, being flashed out of his mind, fully blind, as Viral picks up the kill onto IMAT through the vertical holes. And with even more going down, one air jab will go. Actually, oh, so Surma is on the Nomad. I was completely wrong in my saying that there was no flank watch, but they're definitely going to have to watch this door if Ryan is going to be continuously peeking this close proximity angle with that devastating shotgun.
Devastating shotguns indeed. I'm at the first and only one to go down, and never mind, apparently not. Sportrick finding Jetcon as well. Two of the key players for Akron Gold already gone in round number 1. It's an even 3v3. This is one of the closest rounds we have seen Akron come toe-to-toe with against ASU. And so far, it's down to these final seconds of who will come out on top. Of course, the remaining defenders holding down to the side as much as they can. That's no Gemini. Hennessy with those shots coming back right back at you onto Sportrick. It's going to be another one gone. And now you're down to your final skeleton crew against literal Titans. Maestro holding his own against the chassis of the bomb. Finding Hennessy. Can he find 2? No, it's going to be Orange running through the defenders at the very end. Ryan with a double kill on that shotgun. Ooh, there we go. Pop, pop, pop. The popcorn was made.
That looked like the least skillful kill cam you could ever see, but that M1014 kicks like a bucking bronco. And to keep those pellets going down range and tight enough spread is actually a lot more difficult than it looks. I was just really skeptical of the pick of the shotgun for that site, because the UMP does have that 1.5 and allows you to be as comfortable as you want with pretty much any tier of engagement. However, this isn't the first time in CEA that we've seen a unorthodox shotgun pick really pan out. Last year, VTech were the kings of downstairs kitchen, where I believe it was Felorian always picked the Valkyrie with the Spaz 12 and absolutely popped off every single time. He would just sit right next to the breach and wait for people to run in. It was like pretty much a guaranteed 3 kills every single round he picked the Spaz. Had a wonderful banana skin on it. And I guess the main man himself in the form of Ryan was really picking up that torch and showing that he can do just as well as players of past.
Really harnessing that energy here. Now, I don't know about you, but it's not often that we see Frost being brought into any competitive games, but having Frost on Vela is probably the best choice for her. The map is still dark. In fact, they made the textures of the flooring a little bit darker to help compensate against a lot of the skins that were being released, but having those frost mats coming very close to blending in for a lot of the textures is going to be an interesting area to see whether or not they'll work or if they won't work. We do see Frost Strat number 1 going down on 90. Another one going to be at the base area, the landing, if you will, of Red Stairs. And Trap number 3 could realistically go anywhere, but it looks like it's going to be a little bit more aggressive, or not. She's going to hold on to it.
Yeah, I mean, if she's able to retake a position and put a frost mat on there, that could be... Oh, what a play coming out of Sportrick as they're using Ryan as a bootleg Miro window to peek off and give intel. The Roni popped the head right off Surma, meaning no more air jabs, no more worries for the rest of the roamers. Now, Viral on site is going to be taking a lot of damage at the crossfire set up by Akron, with IMAT taking control over towards the back connector window. But a Nitro Cell's going to go and put him in the down, but not outstate. Unfortunately, with points off, the Mozzie of Sportrick is not going to know that he has put IMAT on the ground. Could try to jump out and confirm his kill, but he's probably going to try to play a little bit more passive in order to secure maybe just staying alive longer. Now, Field Medic, as you say, Sailor Moon is going to be able to revive IMAT, the most crucial piece of the Akron attack up to this side, as Arv, in the meantime, will go down to Zerfon with that wonderful 9mm gun. Jetcon now picking up Sportrick, as he did finally fly too close to the sun, and his wings were melted on the exterior of the building. No more Mozzie, and those drones that might be taken will remain dormant for the rest of the round.
It's not looking great for Akron again for a second round in a row. It's not something we haven't really seen so much this season. Speed Sports are gone, sure, but you've already lost down on your only hard breacher, in fact, and you've lost down on your flank watch as well. You're down to just your intel and your soft breach entries to really carry the rest of the round. And this is not a map where you really want to have that in effect. Sure, you lose down on Hibana. This isn't the most reinforcement heavy map, but when you have to go up against Vol, that's definitely not an area you want to be in. Ryan, of course, holding the entire team at bay, using that shield, or a bootleg mirror, if you will, to try to hold everything down is not really the most ideal situation to be in. The Frost, of course, trying to help out a little bit, but JetCon able to find Zerfron instead. The wrong end of the barrel indeed, and Ryan still standing on their own 2 feet as people are trying to swerve around. JetCon, of course, getting a triple kill, not showing any signs of slowing down. Meanwhile, with only 2 defenders left on the site, it's just not the area to be in. IMAT, the one who was down but never out, is going to be finding yet another kill. But with JetCon down, it's up to him to really carry the round, along with Hennessy.
Yeah, both of them are alive, and the plant will be going down, meaning it's post-plant time. It's going to be a very difficult position for this Clash to win because all she has is an SMG. However, they line up. Hennessy will go down to a headshot, and now it's just IMAT with about 3 HP to go. He could be zapped to death, so he's definitely got to keep his distance, as well as the time going down is going to be putting a lot of pressure onto Ryan. If he's smart, could just use the shield on his back to block as he long arms this if he understands that IMAT has made his way inside of the connector out the window, but the positioning is too strong. The rat corner angle out of the ash will prevail right outside of this window, playing it smart, playing it safe, and making sure that that Clash did not get the clutch.
Oh, it's one of those tough situations because, yeah, he could have gone for the defuse, and that was probably the best situation, but checking on the left corner instead of the right did have the shield in IMAT's face, so hypothetically it could have dodged all the shots or blocked all of them, but unfortunately it didn't. So it wasn't the worst situation for that Clash to be in, but Ryan really should have went for that defuse. That's going 1-1 now between the 2 teams going into round number 3. We're about a quarter of the way through the game so far, and already we're seeing a huge resistance coming back from ASU that was nowhere near being seen on Cafe.
Yeah, they are on the favored defensive side of Villa. However, with the way Akron has looked on the previous map of Cafe, it didn't matter which side that they were going on, the attack or defense. They were absolutely dominant. Maybe ASU has finally made the proper adjustments to account for the aggression that IMAT is putting up. And now it's going to be up to the rest of the Akron team to start picking up a bit of the slack. From this, it has been JetCon getting a triple kill last round, probably being the catalyst for Akron's first round win, just absolutely breaking open the stalemate and allowing the rest of his team to get the execute down and put the pressure the other way in that post-plant situation. Really well done by the Zofia. However, they're going to have to do a lot more and continue to pile on the pressure to try to get as many rounds as possible on their attacking half. If you're Akron, you're going to be gunning for at least a 3-3 split. That would count as a win for an attacker because this map typically does go 4-2 for the defenders. Anything more than that is a plus for whichever side you get. If you get a 5-1 split on the defense, ASU is going to be singing their own praises and very, very happy onto their attacking split with a whole lot of confidence. However, if the defense wins less than 4 rounds, that's going to provide Akron the necessary sort of crack on in as, speaking of cracking, Zerfon's going to crack the head of Hennessy, but not before being hunted down by IMAT for the wonderful refrag. Zerma also picking up Cravington, and just like that, it's a snap of the fingers, and the horizontal roam has been turned to dust.
I was expecting this to be a much slower round, but already we're seeing an explosive start coming out from Akron again. Of course, that's not really much of the fault of Akron. It was kind of the favor of ASU who started the first shot. Unfortunately, it was Cravington who, trying to get that first shot into Closet, ran away, got subsequently killed, and took Zerfron with them. Zerfron did find Hennessy, so it's going to be your lead intel gone, but now you have raw fragging power as the powerhouse for your team. Pushing through, going towards 90 area, it's going to be up to this Evil Eye to see the first of many attackers that will come to the area. It's going to be the Evil Eye, I believe, going to be gone already. C4 going to be launched overhead through the reinforcement. And this could potentially be a gigantic play. Unfortunately, it only finds one, doesn't find the whole team. But even then, finding of all people, IMAT to go down, it's going to even things 3-3. That's exactly the place you want to be in for the defense. Still having one of the most defender-favored sites in the entire game at your disposal. Slowly being whittled away, yes. but with an impact trick potentially in bounds, there he goes successfully. Things are getting a little bit spicier for the side of UA Gold.
Yeah, getting that 90 wall opened up takes away Vault as a viable option for any of the defenders to reside inside of, and you can lock down a lot of areas and entryways from that Vault power position. But the most powerful position right now will be the Wamai of Sport Trick residing inside of Study. If he's unchecked, just completely can lock down a lot of areas, but the Zofia going to Study Balcony might be able to get a free kill if he swings with the right timing. However, that window has now shut as Sport Trick has made his way all the way back to his deployable shield towards Classical Hall in the top of main stairs. More utility coming in at the red stairs landing as it seems the execute wants to occur at the backside of that big metal vault door. Sport Trick needs to flank onto the Zofia right now because the people inside his sight are being absolutely overwhelmed as Jekon goes in and takes out Viral. It's a 2v3 situation, but now the diffuser will go down as that Study entrance will be the death of the planter of Zerma. Now in a 2v1 situation, the diffuser has been recovered, but the time is just going down, down, down. Another swing from Sport Trick as he knows he needs to take out the Zofia, but can't quite get it done as Jekon will pick up another kill onto the final player of USA, ASU, and will be taking the round for Akron.
Well, I mean, I guess it's USA. They are doing such a dominant job overall so far, and I guess, you know, to kind of follow your metaphor, they're going down, but it seems like ASU is yelling timber at the helm. It's gonna be UA winning 2 rounds in a row now. They kind of faltered at the beginning of the game, but they're able to find their stride now just a little bit more. It's a tough situation to be in overall. It really seemed like, had it not been for those final seconds, that easily could have been ASU's round, but they kind of fumbled at the helm right at the very end where we saw Sport Trick push in. If he had just killed that bomb carrier and not pushed, we would be seeing a reverse 2-1 right now.
No, I think the main thing was the fact that Sport Trick allowed JetCon to just run through Study. That is something as the main stairs player that you can't allow to happen, and you saw how much damage JetCon was able to do. There were 3 people remaining, it was an even 3-on-3, and JetCon got every single one of those kills because his teammates sort of assumed that Study was going to be a non-factor. They were really focused on the red door, top of Aviator, over in that area. And when somebody comes in from another doorway that you're not accounting for because you're assuming that a teammate is watching it, that's the kind of disastrous results you're going to see. A round all of a sudden was flipped on its head due to great positioning and flanking of the attacking variety coming out of JetCon, showing that he's just as prolific a fragger as IMAT, even outdoing him this game at a scoreline of 6-2.
5 seconds remaining.
We're returning again to Aviator, and this is going to be the first time we've seen a site come on 2 rounds in a row. We've gone Dining, we've gone Trophy, and of course now this is the second time we've gone Aviator. Good boot. It wasn't a pretty round for either team. It was in ASU's favor for maybe a few frames, but then it quickly became in Akron's favor once they started swinging on and getting the kills. It looks like it's a slower round from the positioning of the defenders. Again, though, we could see a huge startup from Cravington, who was originally the Jaeger, but now might be in the helm of Sport Trick. The Gemini going to be going down, not able to find much other than almost finding one Jaeger. I'm not even sure. Yeah, there you go. Now it's spotted. And that's going to put Sport Trick in a very dicey situation. IMAT pushes up, not able to find the kill. It's going to be IMAT who finds Sport Trick right off the rip again. These Jaegers are just not able to have much luck this game.
Yeah, for the Jaeger and the Ash, the typical rush mains, you're either going to be the first one dead or the first one to get a kill, and that has been true. However, being true more often to the side of IMAT on the Ash, as now Ryan is under a lot of pressure towards the 90 window. Will be losing about 25 of his HP out of JetCon on the window. Zerfon's going to be able to get and save his teammate a beautiful run out from the main stairs to make sure JetCon's not going to be getting a whole lot of kills at the end of the round like he did last time. And with that, there's no 90 window control, and it's going to be taking and making 90 harder to take. However, on that narrative, the players of ASU have fallen back because the wonderful 1 minute and 30-second mark has hit. That's halfway done with the round, and they don't need to be in advanced positions anymore, especially when you have Cravington on his shield all the way at the end of Classical, ready to take engagements whenever he so desires. doesn't seem to see the Yana coming up. Actually, it's just a Gemini, so no really fear factor right there. Maybe a jump scare coming out of Cravington, but Zerfon's going to be a little bit more terrified as IMAT rips his head clean off of his body. No more Malusi, no more Nitro Cell coming out as the study pressure will be mounting. Ryan trying to hold down this area with a nice prone angle towards the door, but he might not know that the window play is where IMAT is going to be going forward. Now the attempted impact trick will get a lot of the X-Kairos pellets, not quite all of them, but now another hole for the potential of the impact trick will be opened. IMAT is able to fall down, get a triple kill onto the Capcan, start pushing in towards site, understanding that yes, there's a Maestro Cam stopping our execute, but I'm gonna have the teammate go right behind that door. IMAT falls at the hands of the Alda right onto the head. Arv gets the refrag onto the Maestro. All left up to Cravington in a 1v3 situation. Is able to pick up one, going for two. He's gonna have to get the rest of them with only 30 seconds left to go. Is able to down Arv, reloading, gets hit by an air jab, probably swung right soon after, but the pre-fires can't quite hit. He doesn't know the locations of either of the players. Gonna hit another air jab, so unfortunate, but Hennessy's gonna be able to properly capitalize, and Akron Gold puts on another flawless attack.
A beautiful round coming out from Akron, able to just go wham, bam, thank you, man. It was pretty much beat for beat what we had seen before. Unfortunately, there was no surprise plays from Sportrick at the very end. It was just a snowball effect of chaos coming from Akron, just snowballing, just being like an absolute avalanche onto the site. There wasn't really much of a contest except for the beginning, but unfortunately, once that Jaeger missed those opening shots, it was just all she wrote from there.
Yeah, it was just so unfortunate because Akron just gets the first pick over and over and over again. And when they have the man advantage, they're able to really utilize that to their full sort of positive. They understand that, hey, let's set up our trades properly. Let's get into sight, establish crossfires, and even if an ASU member is able to get a kill, we're going to have somebody swinging right in behind him to make sure that that person did not die in vain, taking site control, taking map control overall in general with absolute authority, and directly converting into great executes and very, very strong post-plant positions.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what they did. There wasn't really much of a deviation from what Akron brought out last round, and even that, we didn't really see Maroon change up their general strategy either. In fact, they played a little bit more defensive in the exact wrong areas. They played it closer to site, yes, but they weren't playing on 90 as much. They were not playing study as much. They were playing a little bit, don't get me wrong, but they, gave up on those areas a little too easily. But we're returning the trophy again, and this was not a round for Maroon to win the first time we had seen it. Only Dining Room has really been successful for them, and it's a little curious that they're hesitant to go back. Maybe they think it was a one-time thing, but you won the round before, you might as well try it again.
Yeah, they're falling into that sort of paradox that you had your primary site, you don't need to save it. You need to go back to it as quickly as possible because it's obviously what you're most comfortable on. IMAT already droning all the way through his path onto Bathroom and might just be going as fast as he so desires, following that Yana drone to potentially refrag it. Knows that there's a Wamai on that shield inside of Astro, holding a pixel and trying to challenge anybody going inside of the Bathroom. But Utility will most likely be coming out quite soon to burn away the magnets. So a quick jiggle to the side will be able to land a breaching round onto that iron piece and make Cravington's position so much harder to hold. However, he has fallen back a little bit to the more passive angle over the desk, but Mozzie of Zerfon will fall at the hands of Surma. Surgical shot right onto the head of the Mozzie. I believe spawn peeking on the backside over towards Study, or it was through the holes. I don't quite know.
Absolutely. Things are looking pretty good for Akron once again. It's going to be JetCon, I believe, finding yet another kill. There we go. The Zofia man himself finding Sportrick. It's going to be a back and forth, however, in terms of who has that map control. Of course, slowly but surely, it is whittling away as I speak. Firewall taking some damage, and that's going to be what's holding up inside of Astro. It's going to be Ryan, though, finding JetCon yet again. Ryan, unfortunately, gets refragged immediately by IMAT. The communication's really on point right now for the attackers team. Keep in mind, more or less, Villa is still a defensive-sided map, and the attackers are just having their way with it. It's going to be a bit of a slower attack from here. Everyone trying to find their final positioning before engaging towards the end of the round. Are finding Firewall, yes, and Cravington by himself inside astronomy. Not going to be Galileo, unfortunately. He's going to be more of a Pompeii type. He's got to figure out what he can do, and it's not looking good when the entire team is surrounding you, waiting for that final push. Through the barricades, however, finding Onesby Cravington taking down IMAT, but he has 3 more bodies to deal with. Diffuser a long ways away from the Wamai is not going to make it to the deer. Going to be shot down in his tracks. Akron again taking yet another round and leaving ASU in the dust.
Arv just knew he was going to come through that rotate hole, constantly circling the location that he believed the Wamai of Cravington was going to go through. And fortunately for him in that kill cam, he was correct and he was able to get a wonderful shot landed onto the sprinting Wamai, icing up the round and securing at least a 4-2 attacking split for Akron on their map choice. And that right there speaks to me that this is the reason that Villa was chosen by the University of Akron. They're comfortable on both sides. We know they can be so powerful on defense, but they're just as potent onto the attacking front. They're just looking so cool, calm, and collected, taking map control, killing roamers, pushing in, getting the bomb down into strong post plant positions that are just too much for the remaining members of the ASU Maroon squad to overcome.
Absolutely. It's going to be the final round of the first half. Maroon needs to bring it back. Sure, we might be able to see kind of a reverse of what's normally expected for a defender or attacker-sided team. Like you had touched on before, Connor, the defenders really need those 4-round wins on their defensive half. The attackers really only need 2, but that's only statistics. And right now we're seeing those statistics fly out the window as Akron once again 4 now, potentially even 5, but if we're going to see that 4-2 split, it needs to be right now. This was Maroon's win, the very first round of this map number 2. Map number 2 of a first map that they were horribly beaten on. This round will mean so much to the defenders right now. And we're seeing that castle with the shotgun come out again. They're trying to relive magic that we had seen, only half an hour ago? It's possible, but they need to be able to do it. Now, what's going to matter most here is obviously where those defenders are going to place themselves, but the attackers in their tempo are going to judge the entirety of this round.
Yeah, last time around, Akron might have been a little bit caught off guard for the primary bomb site of the ASU Maroon team to be downstairs in the traditional tertiary bomb site of kitchen and dining. But this time, they're going to have the drone intel to really solidify their inquisitions of, yes, they are finally back downstairs. We're going to know exactly what they're going to do. They're going to have 2 roamers somewhere. We're going to have to clear them out, maybe coming out with the drone work of both Hennessy and IMAT over towards the south side study balcony. It will soon confirm the location of the Mozzie unless he is misdroned. Never mind, they're going to find him because he's bright yellow wearing the Doki skin, the Navi. Oh no, they're going to get the wall bang with this yellow ping. So unfortunate for Sport Trick as he was just up the creek without a paddle. Now another refrag will go out, a 1-for-1 trade of ARG for Cravington. JetCon picks up the kill. And just like that, the top floor is completely vacant of ASU Maroon defenders and will be prime for Akron Gold to take.
This is it right now. If this is Michael Jackson's last tour, this is it. That's all they can really do right now. Again, we're seeing a lot of the mistakes that Akron had made before being corrected in front of our eyes. We saw the Maestro in the same exact positioning so many rounds ago, not being refragged. In fact, it was 2 different members of Akron's side, on camera at the very least, getting caught in those angles. The shotgun not going to be affected this time. No 2Ks coming out from Ryan. Instead, we're going to see a triple kill from our boy. I'm out. A 4K. Never mind. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another Akron round right there. They were not able to recreate the magic on the defensive scene. ASU had such a good round number 1, but now the animals themselves, IMAT pouncing like a lion onto a jackal, bringing 5-1 into the second half. Only needing, again, pretty much the same split we saw on Cafe. 2 more rounds to get a very clean 2-0 tonight. And while it's not as impressive as last time, Connor, we are seeing 12-4. Another 3.0 KD for IMAT.
Yeah, IMAT has just been for lack of a better term, he's been built different in this series. He definitely woke up on the right side of the bed, feeling dangerous, poured himself a nice big old bowl of Wheaties, and is feeling like a champion and showing off why he is just such a prominent figure in the collegiate community for Rainbow Six Siege and is definitely one to be feared. For the rest of his team, they're keeping up the pace, especially JetCon having a much stronger showing and more of what we expect to see out of him being the new kid on the block for the Akron University team. And it's just made the perfect recipe to go up 5-1 on Villa attack. That is not the easiest thing to do because, like we said, the map is a little bit more defender sided. And unfortunately, once again, we're going to see the two beautiful words RH come out of chat. And that's going to be another rehost, as it seemed somebody in the lobby froze. Their computer might have crashed, which is just very, very unfortunate. But make sure to stay tuned because Akron has flipped the script and they're going to be on the defensive side. And they're going to try to go as much as possible and close this game out. So we will be back in about 5 minutes.
C-Daps, I didn't know we were living in Mario Kart tonight because we are in mirror mode right now. The last time we had a rehost between Akron and ASU Maroon, we had a 5-1 split. Going into the second half now, again, we have a 5-1 split coming off of a rehost. But welcome back, everyone. This time, only difference is that instead of Cafe, we have Villa. But the same things, it's the same old story. Akron is dominating ASU Maroon.
Yeah, it's the same song, different dance. And this time, it's going to be Akron on the less favor side getting that 5-1 split. Because doing a 5-1 split on Cafe defense is impressive. But you know what's more impressive than that? Getting a 5-1 split on Villa attack. And now you are poised to go for victory as quick as you want it, especially when you're going to be starting off with a primary bomb site such as Aviator Games, and you see IMAT on the Mozzie and JetCon on the Jaeger. That tells me they're going to be playing the horizontal roam game over inside Trophy and Statuary. They're going to be trying to stay alive as long as possible and absolutely add to their kill total.
Yeah, I think overall this will be a very quick round again. Of course, that's not the Harkin on Maroon at all. They could pull a big rabbit out of their hat. But so far, it seems like, yeah, the rounds are coming really close. There's coordination, but the raw killing power, just the raw mechanical skill we see at IMAT and Jekon has quite literally been unparalleled so far for a lot of these sets.
Yeah, it's just with the way that Akron sets up their Villa defenses and their Villa takes, they just spread out their defense so much, just like an attack where they're just having map control on all sides. It doesn't matter where you push in from, you're going to be met with a lot of resistance. And with how most teams like to attack Aviator Games over towards the master side, the most resistance you're going to feel is going to be over towards that northern side of the map. JetCon and IMAT. You already see JetCon just going, placing barbed wire, doing all of the wonderful prep things that we love to see Jaegers do, allowing his team to have audio cues as well as not have to worry about grenades now, which will probably come into factor because never mind, there's no grenades on the side of ASU. I wish I was big brain enough on this, but now what's even more big brain is the hot breach coming in on the skull window. Ash is going to bite the dust as Hennessy is primed and ready for that position, droned out and confirmed location, could fall to the Zofia on that window next.
I really don't know why that was a good idea coming out from Ryan, just immediately swinging on into the middle of the battlefield. Definitely not the play, and they got punished accordingly. It was Hennessy had just swung in and got probably the freest kill of the entire set so far. Of course, Hennessy wasn't too far off right there, almost getting the same exact fate, getting baited, as they said in the chat, almost the master of it, unfortunately. Not going to be quite there yet. You could say they're adept, but no master-worthy material yet. By the way, very nice Jaeger impression.
Yeah, I try my best. It's hard to sound German. Like I hope it wasn't too cringeworthy, but now
I like
getting
your
back
cringe.
right into the action, IMAT is trying to hold down this master side all by his lonesome, just kind of existing inside of the back side of the map. With about a minute and 20 left to go, is already shaping up to be quite the strong defense for the Akron Gold side. Now, the Zofia is going to get the better of him, however, as the headshot from Sportrick will remove IMAT from this round. Jekon gets the refrag and is going for two, but can't quite get it done. 1 HP in a dream, and that dream's a nightmare as Zerfon gets that refrag, evening up the man count at 3-3 with about a minute to go.
About a minute to go indeed. Again, another bloody battlefield happening in the bathroom, which, whew, I'd hate to be that bathroom. But once again, a lot of damage going on through for everybody, pretty much. Only a few left on the board with full health, and as Study gets pushed on forwards, the diffuser's going to go down. That's not going to stop the Toxic Bangs from making a sniff inside of Aviator. The Jackal going to go down from it, sniffing it a little too much, but of course, the Nomad going to try their best. A valiant attempt, but it's going to leave Zephron, the last one alive, making the same mistake player number one did. That is going to be Akron getting another round on the board. If at first you don't succeed, Connor, do it 2 more times, it seems, and 3 different bodies pretty much fell in that same exact landing area right in front of Aviator. Definitely not something you want to see on stream, but at least they got the diffuser down. That's all that matters. I mean, what matters is that they won the round, but they got something.
See, you said try it again. And I'm going to flip the script on that and say that's the definition of insanity. Because as everybody knows, that wonderful quote, doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. And that's exactly what ASU did. They just kept on running in that door. They had two people try to swing in that window, and it just didn't work out for them. They can't quite adjust enough to the strong anchoring presence that Akron had inside of the site. They had so much utility left for plant denial. They had all three smoke canisters. They had the Maestro cam. They had a shotgun. They had Hennessy with the Malusis, just slowing down the attack. And it was like going through the gauntlet. And unfortunately for ASU, Akron came out on top and are now knocking on the door of match point.
I hate everything about this team comp that ASU's bringing out. Talk
Yeah.
This isn't bottom of the barrel. Obviously, there are some elements that are really smart about this going in the trophy. But even then, what's going to really rely, I think, on this strategy will just be taking Master Bedroom. The Blitz is a real wild card here. He has a lot of potential for free range on this top floor, but it really ultimately comes down to where he's going to enter onto the site. I
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, we've seen Mint go crazy on the blitz. Will Ryan channel that energy? He already channeled the main man Felorian downstairs with a shotgun. Maybe he's going to go all the way up to T1 to funnel in that sort of absolute mastery of blitz. However, that's just going to be something only time will tell. We need to see if the shield play, the triple shield actually, if maybe actually I'll say 4 because Firewall has 2 face shields. Zerfon's got a big one that goes all the way his entire body, and Blitz can just sort of have a medium. He's just sort of in the middle of a face shield and a full body shield. It covers his torso. You can still shoot his little legs as they're sprinting at you with the Adidas boots on. And now what's going to be really hard for the Legion to challenge is going to be a Blackbeard on a window. And astrology window is a very powerful position if you're able to stay alive. You can essentially cut every single rotate off in between the two sites. You can open up long angles. You can do whatever as the rest of the shields are going to be pushing down the stairs trying to pinch out this player.
Blitz, however, going to Legion City, it seems not really the best area to be in. It's going to be the diffuser going headstrong onto astronomy. Legion mines, the goos are quite all over the place for this Blitz to have to deal with. There are people on the windows, but of course, the angle from down below could either serve to be a fortune or death or IMAT. IMAT, however, unscared, it seems, about pushing and letting the attackers take over this area of the site. That's me, Astro, gone away into Maroon's favor. The Monty pushing the soft breach hole. The Wubs going to be destroyed as well. There's smoke grenades everywhere, so this could be the optimal time for the attackers to make their moves, but the Monty leaves down. That's going to be the Blitz gone as well. Sportrick does find one onto IMAT, but the damage has potentially already been done. The crux of your attack already gone. You're down to 1 shield out of the 3. And yeah, sure, it's getting some kills, but even then, it's down to a 2v1. Blackbeard versus the world, and the shield makes some moves. That's gonna be Firewall the double kill, and Surma, the last one alive now. It's Blackbeard versus Bandit. Definitely not the area you want to be in. And Connor, there's still a minute left in this round. And the Blackbeard, all intents and purposes, it's down to a 1v1, yes, but he looks a little lost.
Yeah, he's going to be trying to rotate all the way around. And Surma, if you notice that wonderful weapon in his hands, has an M870, no MP7. And when you put yourself in these close quarter combat situations, it is a very formidable shotgun. However, with the long angle approach that Firal's trying to go, he knows now that the bandit's in the corner. He's trying to get him to push into the range that is deadly for the shotgun. And now he's going to swing and do all the work himself. The beautiful diamond charm shining and just complementing that blue and pink color as the buckshot will fill the Blackbeard. No face shield to block that one. In a back-to-back 7-1 victory for Akron is just putting them all the way at the top of Invite and showing that there is nothing that anybody is going to be able to do to dethrone them.
It's really hard to say. On paper, I think that would have been a 1v1 for Blackbeard. In that particular positioning, I would say that was Blackbeard's favor. But all things considered there, that was just not around to win for ASU. They brought the shields. They brought everything out, and they took full control of astronomy. They looked really good doing it. But from there, the Monty fell. The Blitz fell right after, almost simultaneously. and then another one fell. You were down to just a 2v3. Sure, it was brought down to a 1v1 and a Blackbeard versus a shotgun bandit. That was Blackbeard's game. And unfortunately, it was Akron who won the gunfight against the Blackbeard, or fortunately for them, I should say, and they won 14 rounds compared to the 2 that we had seen ASU win. Overall, ASU did bring back a lot in Villa. They were able to win a lot of those gunfights and nearly bring back a bunch of rounds, but it was just those final moments where they kind of ceased forfeit. They ceased the victory and almost gave it to Akron almost every single round.
Yeah, it was just such small mistakes that just compounded and were exploited by Akron on the ASU side, that if something, just a single thing went wrong, Akron completely took that as their opportunity and just blasted through either the attack or the defense, punishing any sort of mistakes. And that's the kind of stuff that good teams do. The they find the mistakes and they capitalize. That's what you do as a good team. And that's what poises them for victory and puts them as probably the toughest team to beat in the collegiate scene right now. And now we're going to be able to get a little sneak peek behind the scene to understand what was really happening inside of comms. So make sure to stay tuned for the interview because we're going to go to a quick break. Actually, never mind. Somebody just joined, I believe.
Hello,
It's
IMAT.
IMAT again. Yay, IMAT.
Hello. I'm not sure if we're gonna go to a break or not, but for me personally, we've
Let's
had
just send
IMAT
it.
here.
Let's
Yeah, let's
send it.
just send it. We've had IMAT here on so many times now. I feel like I'm kind of dry from questions. My Keglanet question well is pumping a little, not as much oil as usual. But I guess the main question I really have was what was going through your minds as a defender for that very final round? You have a Monty, you have a Blitz, and you have a Blackbeard with his 2 shields going up against Trophy. Do you think that was a good play from ASU or?
I just think they wanted out of the game, and I mean, I can't fully blame them. I'm sure they're tilted. I was just more tilted with Casey trying to peek for his ace. He could have just waited 5 seconds and got it.
Yep. You definitely knew he wanted it. He wanted it
Oh,
so
Casey
bad.
always wants it, man. I love that
Yeah.
kid. He's my favorite.
I mean, it was a heck of an effort coming out. He killed both of the shields, which is something easier said than done, especially when you jabate Olay Matador style on a blitz sprinting at you. But then again, you have to think about the rest of that round where Surma was the last one alive, and you know what weapon he had in his hands, right?
Of course, he asked us before we were even on defense. He's like, "Hey, do you guys okay with me using the shotgun?" And we're like, "Sure." I mean, okay.
I mean, at that point, why would you care? You're already 6-1. You might as well go for something crazy. And there were some elements of seeing some craziness on both sides. We did see the shotgun coming out from Castle, which was interesting to see, getting a double kill at the very end against you guys. That was the only time they won a round against you guys on Akron. What was going through the comms there, losing that first round on Villa?
Oh, it was just instantly, as the IGL, I just took over, told everybody to just like relax. We lost. I told them the reason we lost, we just stalled out pretty hard. We then went over it and, I said like what we should do differently to go back. And then we moved on to the next round. Just drop it completely. Don't even remember it and move on to the next and figure out like where they're going and how to attack it.
Fair enough. Well, I don't know about you, Connor, but that's pretty much all the questions I have.
Yeah, I guess you did your best Rexon impression today, dropping probably at least 30 kills, maybe even 40. You were just absolutely popping off today. And that's kind of like all we can say analysis wise is that you and JetCon were just leading the front for your team. And that's something that we have come to expect considering this is the 3rd time in a row we've cast you. So I guess you guys are the only invite team we're ever going to cast where you're dedicated casters. So if that interests you, then that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I love it, man.
Alrighty, and with that, we're going to conclude this interview as well as the stream, but we've got one more thing we need to do. We need to give our thanks to the wonderful sponsors that allow our broadcast to be as high quality and wonderful as it is. First up, if you need a little bit of extra pep in your step, a little bit of a caffeine kick, you can go over to rogueenergy.gg and pick up any of their wonderful energy supplements that will keep you definitely on your toes and perked up for schoolwork, gaming, whatever. Also, If you use code CEA at checkout, you will get 10% off your order as well. If you're looking to rock some swaggy merch that has the CEA brand on it to help support us, you can go over to whatsnew.gg and pick up our entire line of merch. We've got the hooded jerseys coming in soon. They look absolutely stunning, so make sure to get your hands on one of those, as well as some really comfortable joggers, a mouse pad. I think there's wall scrolls. There's so many different options you can do. And last but certainly not least, you've got our main sponsor, CORSAIR. They really do so much to help us. They beef up our prize pool. They allow us to do giveaways, and they've always been at our backs rooting for us. So if you need any extra gaming peripherals, you need a headset, you need a mouse, keyboard, whatever, go over to corsair.com and pick up any of their products because they're insanely high quality and have the name to match. And with that, that's the end of our broadcast. Make sure to stay tuned tomorrow for some Valorant as well as possibly Siege content. I do not know if we have an observer yet, so there might be Siege, or you can go over to CEA_Valorant to make sure you can still see some collegiate gameplay coming out. I've been CDABS, joined by the main man, the sultry, beautiful voice known as Keglinek, and we'd like to wish you
Hello.
guys a great night.